Okay, back to, this is Excel. We are working on project 3, the Froyo to Go financial projection. And this is going to be video 6. In video 5, we just did finish up our charting. So what we have left to do now is we're going to do some organizing of our workbook. And we're going to play with the what if analysis and do some goal seeking to see what kind of information we can put into this. So I'm going to go to my sheet tab number 1, which is where my actual spreadsheet is located. And I'm going to begin by changing the color of my clustered column chart tab. So down here on clustered column chart tab, I'm going to right click, choose tab color, and I want it to be the dark green accent 3, which mine is looking like turquoise. But go ahead and choose that one. Then I'm going to rename my sheet 1. So I'm going to double click on sheet 1 and I'm going to rename that 6-month financial projection. And click off of that to accept the name change. I'm going to change the color on it, so I right click, change tab color, and this tab color we want to be a dark purple accent 2. So dark purple accent 2. If you don't have a dark purple, just choose a different color. Okay. Again, once you're clicked on the tab, all you can see is a little bit of shading down at the bottom. It's not real dark like when you are clicked off of the tab. Okay. Next, we're going to reorder this. We want to make sure that our 6-month financial projection is the first thing you see when you open the workbook. So I'm going to click on the 6-month financial projection. You see the little white piece of paper that appears? Okay, I'm going to drag it until it is in front of the clustered column chart down here at the bottom, and then I will let go. That is how you rearrange your tab names. I said before in the last chapter that Excel does not automatically do your spell check for you. You have to manually do that, and so I expect you to always do spell check before you turn anything in. You can start anywhere in your worksheet. However, it's always handy if you start from cell A1. So to get to cell A1, an easy way to get there is just to press the Control Home on your keyboard, and that's going to take you to cell A1, and then you can start your spell checking, and you don't have to worry about it asking you the question, do you want to continue from the beginning of the spreadsheet? So spell checking was under which tab? It's under Review. So Review Spelling. You're going to assume that the company name is correct, so I'm going to ignore that once. And if it come up with any of these words misspelled, you need to go ahead and fix those. It looks like my spelling is all correct. I am good to go, so I'll hit OK. I also need to do my spell checking on my other tab. So I want to go to my column chart. I don't think there's a whole lot there to spell check, but you always want to make sure. So I'll go to Home, I'll go to my spelling, and it says yes, I'm good to go on that one. Now you can spell check more than one sheet at the same time. So to select more than one sheet, I would be clicked on my first one, and I'm going to hold down the Control button, and I can click on the other one too. So then they're both selected, so I could have done my spell check all at once that way. Okay, to unselect those, oh, nope, actually we want those both selected because we're going to do our print preview. We want to print both of these pages. We're not really going to actually print, but we're going to do both of our printing formatting at the same time on both pages. So with both sheets selected, I'm going to choose File to get to my Backstage view. I'm going to go to Print. This is going to give me my print preview. I'm going to choose the portrait setting, portrait in my portrait orientation, and change it to landscape, because we always want our spreadsheet, if at all possible, to fit on one page. We can still see that we're not completely fitting on one page. So I'm going to go to my no scaling, and I'm going to tell it to fit on one page. That way my entire first spreadsheet with my financial information is all going to fit on one page. Double check to make sure your printer is listed. Remember, in here we always will print to a PDF. So you can choose a PDF creator. And then if you were to, or you could print, if you actually wanted this on paper, you would pick your printer and then you would hit print. So we don't actually have to print. I can still go back in and make sure you've changed it to landscape and to fit on one page. You can see down here it shows me there are 2 pages. And so if I click on page 2, that's going to show me what my chart is going to print like. So I'm just going to hit my arrow or go on back to my File tab, so that takes me back to my regular worksheet. We're going to now look at changing the way the view of the worksheet. With Excel, you can easily change the way you view it. And so we're going to shrink and magnify the view of the worksheet or chart. Sometimes that makes it easier to see. So I want to make sure that I am only clicked on my 6-month financial projection page. So to do that, I'm going to just right-click down here on my tab and choose Ungroup Sheets. Now, if I had another tab, for example, those of you using the old Excel, if you have like tab 2 or 3, a generic tab, you can always click on that and that will unselect them. So I want to be on my 6-month financial projection only. I can tell I am because this clustered column chart is dark blue. And this time I'm going to go to, I'm going to make sure I'm in cell A1. And I'm going to go to View, Zoom, and there's a list of magnifications right here that I put it way down here in the bottom that I can choose from. So on this one, I'm going to go ahead and change it to 75% for my zoom. And hit OK. Okay. Next, the other way I can change it is down here on my status bar. I'm going to take that down 1 by hitting the zoom out button 1 time. Oops. And that's going to take me down to 70%. So you see it keeps getting smaller. So let's go ahead and take it back to 100%. So we're back at our worksheet. We can also, we can also split the worksheet into more than one view. So I'm going to go back to cell A1. I can do that with Control Home or just arrowing and clicking. And in this one, I'm going to now go to cell A8, which is where my expenses are. And I'm going to divide this up. And so I'm going to go over to column E. E8 is where I want to be. And I can tell I'm exactly there because right here is E8. And what it's going to do, it's going to split this sheet into 4 different quadrants. So I go to my View tab. I'm going to go to Split. And now, if I'm over here, I can then scroll down, but only the down part moves. If I'm above this little line, if I'm over here, and I scroll down, only the top part's moving. So I can see more than one section. So if you had a huge worksheet, this would be the way you could do it. Also, if I'm scrolling over this way, you can see that only this side of the spreadsheet is moving. So that is the split. So you can see all 4 corners of your worksheet all at the same time. Next, let's go ahead and remove those panes. So I'm going to go on my View tab. I'm just going to hit Split again to remove those and return it back to normal. What I like to do is to freeze my worksheet columns and rows. Now, whenever you do split or a freeze, this does not print. It only is for your viewing pleasure. So I need to make sure I can always see my months here and that I can always see this information at the side. So I'm going to click in cell B4 because whenever I freeze it, it's going to freeze everything above and to the left of the cell I'm in. So this time I'm going to do freeze panes. And with the newer one, you can freeze the top rows, which is everything above it. You can freeze the first column. I'm just going to choose freeze pane, which is going to freeze everything to the left and above. You can kind of see it put in this blue line for me here. So now whenever I scroll over, I can always see my first column. And if I scroll down, I can always see my months listed at the top. Okay, so we want to go down until we can, okay, so let's go ahead and go to home, which is Control Home on your keyboard, take you to cell A1, and we were going to unfreeze, so just hit freeze panes and unfreeze. Now remember, they do not print like that, they are only going to show like that. So let's look at our what if analysis. A what if analysis or a sensitivity analysis is going to let you scrutinize what happens if you change one number in your chart. It allows you to analyze the data. So our question might be, we want to know what are the effects of changing one or more of the values in the what if assumptions table, and see different scenarios. So if I wanted to change some of my information down here, what's going to happen to these numbers up here? I'm going to zoom in a little bit bigger for you to be able to see. And there we go. So the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure that row 4 is showing. Oh, sorry. I skipped around. Nope. Okay, here we go. Row 4 needs to be showing. And I'm going to click in box A7. Okay, so A7. And that row 4 is the first visible one on my worksheet. So I'm just going to scroll up. It's harder to do without a mouse. Okay, it looks like I'm at the bottom. I'll zoom in a little bit more. Okay, so basically you're wanting to see this. I wanted to make it bigger so you could see it. So I can see I'm on row 4 and I'm clicked in cell A7. I'm going to go ahead and hit my split window again. That's going to split it so I always see the top, so I can see the top part and the bottom part at the same time. And then I'm going to, on my lower pane, I want to go down so that I can see row 8. Okay, so my bottom part, I'm going to just scroll down. Okay, so I can see everything going on here, and I can see everything going on up here. In cell B20, instead of giving a $5,000 bonus, what if we were to change that and give them a $5,500 bonus? So I'm going to type 5,500 into that cell in B20. Now when I click enter, you're going to notice all the numbers in the rest of your spreadsheet change. Okay, well it looked like that's going to drop down. I want to make sure H is my total. Okay, so H is my total row. So you can see that my total operating income actually went down. So if I change that back to 5,000, watch again. I was at 92,788. Change your bonus to 5,500. And I do want you guys to change this. You will see that we dropped down our net operating income to $90,788. But what if we were to change our commission? Instead of giving a 30% commission, we only give them a 27.5% commission. Again, watch your number over here as you change that to 27.5 for the commission. Ooh, that increased us to $100,000. So we dropped their commission rate, but we increased their bonus amount. So in cell B22, is that right? Oh, sorry. In cell B25, right now we are spending equipment repair and maintenance. Sorry, B25. Right now we're spending 4% of our revenue on equipment repair and maintenance. We think maybe that's a little low. What if we actually spent 5%? Let's change that to a 5. Look, now we've got a $96,000. So, but what if we wanted the income in cell H16? So you can see that we have increased the total from $92,788 to $96,725. Okay, so next we're going to do a goal seek formula. And what a goal seek formula is, if you already know the result of the formula,